26, text number 40. Dhyotanam Pachanam Panam Adanam Himamardanam Tejasaha Vrittayaha Tu Etaha Shoshanam Kshut Trit Eva Cha Dhyotanam Pachanam Bhanam Adanam Himamardanam Tejaso Vritayastveta Soshanam Kshutrid Evacha Dhyotanam Pachanam Bhanam Adanam Himamardanam Tejaso Vritayastveta Soshanam Kshutridevacha Dhyotanam Pachanam Bhanam Adanam Himamardanam Tejaso Vritayastveta Soshanam Kshutridevacha
Dhyotanam Pachanam Bhanam Dhyotanam Pachanam Bhanam Dhyotanam Pachanam Bhanam
Yotanam Pachanam Panam
Adanam Himamardanam
Adanam Himamardanam
Tejaso Vritayastveta
Tejaso Vritayastveta
Shochanam Shutrit Evacha
Shoshanam Kshutridevacha
Dhyotanam Pachanam Panam
Yotanam Pachanam Panam
Adanam Himamardanam
Adanam Himamardanam
Tejaso Vritayastveta
Tejaso Vritayastveta
Shoshanam Kshutrit Evacha
Shosham Kshutridevacha Vishwan Sadhanaji
Yotanam Pachanam Panam
Yotanam Pachanam Panam
Adanam Himamardanam
Adanam Himamardanam
Tejaso Vritayastvetaha
Tejaso Vritayastveta
Shoshanam Shutrida Evacha
Soshanam Kshutridevacha Krishna Mataji
Dhyotanam Pachanam Panam
Yotanam Pachanam Panam
Adanam Himamardanam
Adanam Himamardanam
Tejaso Vrittayastvantve Etha
Tejaso Vritayastveta
Soshanam Krit Trid Evacha
Soshanam Kshutridevacha Yotanam Pachanam Panam Yotanam Pachanam Panam Adanam Himamardanam Adanam Himamardanam Tejaso Vritayastveta Tejaso Vritayastveta Shoshanam Kshutridevacha Soshanam Kshutridevacha Dhyatanam Pachanam Panam Yotanam Pachanam Panam Yotanam Pachanam Panam
Adanam Himamardhanam
Adanam Himamardanam
Tejaso Vitayastveta
Tejaso Vitayastveta
Shoshanam Sutrit Evacha
Soshanam Shudrevacha. Yotanam
illumination,
illumination.
Pachanam, cooking, digesting, Anam, drinking, Adanam, eating, Himamardanam, destroying cold, Tejasaha, of fire, Vrittayaha, functions, Tu, indeed, Etaha, these, Soshanam, evaporating, Kshut, hunger, Trit, thirst, Eva, also, Cha, and. Translation. Fire is appreciated by its light and by its ability to cook, to digest, to destroy cold, to evaporate, and to give rise to hunger, thirst, eating, and drinking. Purport. The first symptoms of fire are distribution of light and heat, and the existence of fire is also perceived in the stomach. Without fire, we cannot digest what we eat. Without digestion, there is no hunger and thirst, or power to eat and drink. When there is insufficient hunger and thirst, it is understood that there is a shortage of fire within the stomach, and the Ayurvedic treatment is performed in connection with the fire element, Agni Man Yam. Since fire is increased by the secretion of bile, the treatment is to increase bile secretion. The Ayurvedic treatment thus corroborates the statements in Srimad Bhagavatam. The characteristic of fire in subduing the influence of cold is known to everyone. Severe cold can always be counteracted by fire. Fire is appreciated by its light and by its ability to cook, to digest, to destroy cold, to evaporate, and to give rise to hunger, thirst, eating, and drinking. Please let us know if you'd like to make any comments about it. And so this verse is speaking about the next element. So we heard a little bit about fire and how fire is connected with sight and form. So here we're hearing a little bit more about the fire element and how it's appreciated by its light and by its ability to cook, to digest. So everybody knows, Krishna says, everybody knows about the wonderful qualities of fire, and nobody can avoid appreciating fire in this dark and cold material world. And because of that intrinsic appreciation, which is given by all the living entities to fire, Krishna makes sure to connect fire with himself, and that's called Vibhuti Yoga. So by knowledge of understanding how very great things in the material world are actually connected with Krishna, then we actually connect our intelligence, we connect our seeing and our experiencing and our appreciative function to Krishna's person. We connect it to him personally. And Prabhupada states many times that that is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. And we can explain to people that that fire element which they covet so much, that fire element which is actually propelling all of their motor vehicles and helping them to digest whatever foodstuffs they wish to consume, and also whichever fire is actually keeping them warm in this barren cold, of the Western world. And if we can teach them, if we can explain to them that fire is Krishna, that fire is actually that illuminating function and that heating function of the fire is Krishna. And Krishna is the fire in the belly which helps you actually to digest food. You can imagine if there is it's just a vessel, and you just keep putting sabjis and rice and pakoras inside of a vessel again and again, but it doesn't have any fire inside. Nothing's moving inside. It's not digesting. It's not moving. It's just, you just put it in a pot and just let it stay there. What's going to happen with the food that you put into that pot? Compost. Unfortunately, it'll be worse than compost. If you do compost wrong, then you get mold and you get bacteria and fungus that grows. If you do it right, then it creates a chemical reaction, and living entities of the right variety actually burn it. And if you ever seen a compost really going, it will steam. It will steam. Means that something's happening inside. It's a fire. It's a fire. Now, we tried a few composts and we didn't get it to turn into a fire. It just decomposed on the surface level, and different living entities came to take advantage of the smorgasbord. And so the idea is that that same thing is happening in our bellies if our digestive fire is not properly tended to. We put things inside, and if they're not getting digested, then they actually rot. They actually rot inside of the body, and this is called ama, or toxin. And this is a major Ayurvedic principle. Undigested foodstuffs actually disseminate toxins all over the body in various places, and they cause compounding problems. So Prabhupada is describing here that if one has this condition where they don't have the digestive fire, then Prabhupada says actually it's better not to eat, or to eat the appropriate amount. And Krishna confirms that in Bhagavad Gita. A yogi cannot eat too much, he can also not eat too little. And it's described that Prabhupada, he has a leela where he was not eating very much at all. And I forgot where he was, but he asked one of his disciples, he finally wanted to eat something, and he wanted to eat some orange juice or something like this. And he said they were begging him to eat something, and they were making various foods and bringing it to him, and he just would not eat them. Of course, if you eat when your health is very fragile and you don't have the power, what will happen? Does anybody know? You will get sick again, even worse. So you may have experience like me, is my mind wants to eat like anything. Just like Prabhupada gives the example. One boy, he has a disease, and the doctor says he cannot eat any solid foods, and don't give him any sweets. it'll be very bad for his health. It's not the right type of procedure. He has to eat like this, right? And he sees his brother getting very nice foods from mommy, right? And he's thinking, hey, you want to give me? Come on, you got to give me one. You got to give me one of those. And the brother thinks he's being compassionate, and he gives him like this, under the table. Here, take it. He's over here drinking some dal water. It's actually very nice, dal water. So he's drinking the dal water, but he's seeing everyone else eating the pakoras and the sabji and everything nice, and he's just going crazy. So his brother gives him that, and what happens? He can get sick, he can die. Because the body is not ready to handle that type of food. So Prabhupada actually, he was not eating anything at that time in this Leela. He was hardly eating anything. But he finally called, he said, bring me some orange juice. And the devotee went out and had to get the oranges, and he had to make it, the juice and everything. And Prabhupada was ringing the bell. He said, where's the juice? You're taking hours. I am not eating at all. And finally, when I want to eat, you're taking hours. So he became very serious about this to his disciple, And his disciple, I forgot who it was, maybe Gopinath. Oh, Bhakti Churu Swami. Great. So Bhakti Churu Swami or Gopinath Prabhu, he actually he didn't mind that. He was still on his service. This is actually the quality of a great devotee. A great disciple, even though they're chastised severely by the spiritual master, they don't stop trying to please him. He was mad at me. He doesn't like me. Of course he likes you. What do you mean? You're Krishna's servant. I mean, you're Krishna's eternal servant. Of course the spiritual master likes you. Right? But we get all mental about it. Oh no, we think we're so great, and he offended me. We have the audacity to think the spiritual master can offend us. We think we have the audacity to consider that he has any malice in his heart at all. One has to start at the platform of understanding the spiritual master is my ever well-wisher. That's where it starts. That's where the relationship starts. We cannot question the spiritual master's motives to try to elevate us. Otherwise, what we do is we're actually doubting Krishna's arrangement for my initiation and for my life, right? If we are not sure that we can surrender fully and trust fully a spiritual master, then we should consider seriously before taking the vows. Therefore, there is a period of mutual examination. Right? There's a period, and to say, am I willing to accept whatever this person says as my best interest? Not that I don't have a discussion, respectfully, about things, but that I understand and I accept this person wants the best for me at every moment. Or else, why will they take a vow to take me back to Godhead? That's the thing, is that the disciple takes a vow to follow the instructions of the spiritual master, which are primarily 5. 1 do is chant 16 rounds every single day. And then 4 are don'ts. Stay away from the pillars of sinful life, which destroy bhakti. Right? After, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, after there's no more sinning, then bhakti can begin. Of course, we give bhakti on the street to anyone we meet, even though they're sinful. And devotees may also struggle. But if we really want to be serious, we have to stop those too. Therefore, there's 5. There's the do. We got to do it. We got to pray to Krishna, and to be engaged in his service, we have to chant his holy names. It's like this. I was talking to Prabhu, and I was thinking, one devotee, Kadamukhandan Swami, he says that the essence of service is chanting Hare Krishna. And I've been thinking about that for a long time. And I was talking to Prabhu, and I was thinking, service is our life, right? We just serve. That's our life. But the life of service is chanting. How are we going to keep serving without chanting? Now, if you want to experiment, then you'll see it's not the same. We may for some time be able to serve without chanting, right? But the mind will be trying to get us to serve Maya without steady chanting. So we have to get both. Chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds and 4. So the idea is that he takes a vow to take me back to Godhead under any and all circumstances. And I take the vow to follow those instructions. So why should such a person have any malice in his heart against me? He doesn't want me to become a devotee so we can go back to Godhead? He said, I'm not going back, or I'm going to come back for you until you go back with me. So how can he want something wrong for me? He can't want something wrong for me. It doesn't make sense. To want something wrong on one's own disciple is not logical. It's not logical at all. It doesn't make any sense. Of course, in the case of something like Shukracharya said, don't serve Krishna. No. That's not what the spiritual master says. So in that case, one has to say, no, I'm going to serve Krishna. I'm going to serve Krishna. Right? So, okay, so Prabhupada, he finally wanted some orange juice. He finally felt like, I need to get some nutrients inside. Then the fire will eat it and I will be strong, get some strength. And his disciple was taking too long to make an orange juice. So he told him, you're taking too long. Why? Because the fire is very sensitive. The fire is very sensitive. So when the fire is there, we have to take prasadam. Now here's the thing. We're not interested in anything but putting in the belly prasadam. So we can actually equate it. Krishna is so kind. He made a mechanism by which I have to honor prasadam very regularly, or else I'll be ill. You see that? He's so kind. I have to take prasadam or else I'm going crazy. Some of us, we go crazy if we don't take prasadam. Really. We get mad. We start being rude to people. Irritable. We start getting tingles. Tingling. I'm not feeling well. I need to take prasadam. Yes, take your prasadam. That's your medicine. So we have to take prasadam. We're so fortunate. Krishna made it, so I have to continually take his prasadam. If I just make that one rule, Prabhupada said, only take prasadam. Only take that food which was offered with love to Krishna. You can offer in your own home. You can offer anywhere that you are, as long as you take nice vegetarian foods and you offer them with love. The procedure is there that one actually presents the items which are clean and fresh, cooked recently, within 3 hours, right? They're pure, they're in the mode of goodness, foods in the categories of leaf, flower, fruit, and water, which include milk products, grains, pulses, dals, fruits, obviously, different types of things like this. You take these foods and you give them to Krishna in front of the picture of the spiritual master, right? And Krishna. And generally it's recommended, Prabhupada recommended, we worship the Panchatattva, or Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. And we can also have Radha and Krishna there, no problem. Right? And we actually give them. We give it to the spiritual master. We present it to, we cook for Krishna. Here's the thing. We cook for Krishna, but we give it to the spiritual master and he gives it to Krishna. So this was something that Prabhupada also taught, that you're cooking for me. Actually, you're cooking for Krishna. You're cooking for Krishna. Because I'm not going to eat it until Krishna eats it, right? He didn't say that, but he made that point. You're cooking for Krishna. So this is actually our consciousness. I'm actually been given the opportunity to serve the feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's just amazing. Okay, so you can offer your food anywhere. And say you don't have the ability to put a picture, it's not socially acceptable, you don't want to make waves, okay? Offer in your mind. Offer to the form of the Lord in your mind. We meditate on the form of Lord Chaitanya, or you just simply pull out your phone and you don't make a big deal out of it and you offer your food to Krishna. Now, it should be, Prabhupada stated, all initiated devotees, right? They should not eat foodstuffs cooked by the non-devotees. That was something that Prabhupada wrote with his own hand. Right? So generally we try our best. If you can do it, so much better. And it's stated in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that grains, especially grains, cooked by the non-devotees, they make you into a crazy man. They make you into a crazy man. The consciousness of the cook enters the food and enters into your consciousness. So therefore, we want to take prasadam from devotees who are cooking for Krishna for his pleasure. Therefore we train. We're training to cook for his pleasure. We're training to walk for his pleasure. We're training to eat for his pleasure. We're training to sing for his pleasure. Everything we're doing, Prabhupada is training us to do it for Krishna's pleasure. And it's not easy for us to escape that because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is right here, right? We sing for him. We clean for him. We eat for him. We walk for him. We preach for him. We bring the money for him, right? We bring the boga for him. We bring the flowers for him. That's what's amazing about deity service. And that's what makes the temple Vaikuntha. If we have that, if we take advantage of the Archa Vigraha, then we can get in that mood. Wow, everything is for him. Right? Everything is for him. So, we talked about a few points. I jumped into different things. We talked about the fire of digestion. The fire of digestion is sensitive and we should be careful not to overdo it because it tastes good. We shouldn't overdo it because it tastes good. But if it's prasadam, right, then Krishna may empower a devotee to actually honor a lot of prasadam. He may do that. He may do that. Right? And if it's prasadam, and if we're going to eat something, we're so fortunate. Krishna has given us nice prasadam, and we shall take it to our full satisfaction. We shall take it to our full satisfaction. Because I must not eat anything else. Why? Because I will be going to get some bad reactions. I have to eat sin. If it wasn't offered to Krishna, it's sin. Now, that says, hey, that's pretty extreme, man. Well, what about this? If I take your wallet and I spend your money, is it righteous? So if I take Krishna's cauliflower and I don't give it back to him before I eat it, it's the same. I'm a thief. So I'll be punished by the demigods. They have laws. There's laws of this world which are not explained in the modern law books. We're missing that. We're missing that. That Daivi Netrena, based on my activities now, I'm going to get a next destination which is ordered by higher authorities. But those higher authorities are not spoken about in our law books or in our education system. That's as basic as you get. Who gave you the rain? Who gave you the grain? Who gave you the cows? You know, who gave you the fruit tree? You know, in this world, nothing is free. Where can you find it? It's free. They say, oh, it's free because it's there on the tree. No, it wasn't free for the tree to make that fruit. The fruit has to spend a lot of energy just to make one fruit. Just to make one flower. How much energy is required from Tulsi? Therefore, we have to be very careful with Tulsi Devi. Because if we let her manjaris grow, and they become hard and stiff on the tree, she spent a lot of energy to bring those flowers all the way and drop the seeds and everything. Right? When the manjaris, the seed pod is small, right? That's when she spent less. And those are very, very supple little flowers and very fragrant and nice leaves. And you can take that and give it to Krishna, especially on the prasadam. If you put a big twig on the prasadam, yes, it's there. Yes, it's better than nothing because it's Tulsi and Krishna knows. Hey, they know I want Tulsi. But at the same time, you know, it could get stuck. So this is called personalism. We think about these things. We think about Tulsi's health. We think about it. We think, Krishna's so kind, he's given me everything. Anyway, so my point was, we talked about the fire in the stomach, not eating too much, not too little, but trying to do so in a mood of service. We can learn that from the prasadam prayer. We learned about we spoke about being a disciple, right? And how the disciple always considers the spiritual master as his well-wisher, his best friend. Doesn't try to hurt me, tries to help me, right? And we talked about the demigods and being grateful, and also making sure we're always taking prasadam. And anyway, those are some of my points. Thank you for listening. Hare Krishna. Would anybody like to add anything? Yes, Jagannath Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. This doesn't necessarily apply to me because I'm already initiated, but like for people who are not initiated yet and want to get initiated, so you were saying that the disciple and the spiritual master should evaluate one another when the disciple is aspiring for a certain spiritual master, and you said that the disciple should, I can't remember the exact words, but like the disciple should like have reverence towards the spiritual master, so that he can follow the orders more easily. But Prabhupada, I remember when I was looking for a spiritual master myself, I remember a devotee that used to live here, he told me that Srila Prabhupada said that we should get initiated by the spiritual master that's closest to us, physically, like in proximity. So I took that to heart, and but I'm just wondering, like, why would Prabhupada say this if we're supposed to like take that into consideration, the whole am I able to follow this person's orders?
Right, very good question. These two instructions are not mutually exclusive, meaning it's not completely one or the other. It can be both. So the idea is that we don't, in the name of initiation or in the name of, in the fashion of having a guru, right? I accept the closest spiritual master to me, but without the mood of a real disciple, or at least an aspiring disciple, with no intentions to follow his order. If I try to follow Prabhupada's order just to take initiation as a as an external, it won't be very pleasing to Prabhupada, neither that person, neither me. Because what will happen is, Prabhupada has given that devotee authorization through ISKCON to give initiation. They're trying to do it as a service to their spiritual master Prabhupada and to the GBC. And I meant to prepare myself for that initiation appropriately and try my best. If I'm trying my best, perfect. And if the spiritual master is willing to give me an initiation, even in spite of my faults, which are definitely there, I will take it right away. As soon as he gives me the permission to take it, right, I will take it. Why? That's also a Shastra conjunction. Because if I make that connection, right, that's a big win for me spiritually, eternally. And he gave the permission. It's his mercy. He's giving me mercy. I'm not qualified as a real disciple who will follow everything. But I better try. Because he is trying to save me. So my thought is that comment especially, or that instruction especially, might have been also, one has to analyze, that might have been a time and place instruction, because at a certain time, then there were zonal gurus that were there, and that was the system. But I will tell you that having ability to visit one's own spiritual master and serve the vapu of the spiritual master has wonderful benefits, as we have understood from all these devotees that spent time serving Prabhupada's body and being with him and having chats and getting to see how he cares about me, So these are some points. Thank you for tolerating. Oh, yes, Javier, Prabhu? Let's hear it.
What about just having a raw diet? Just vegetables, lettuces, nothing cooked on fire.
Yeah, such a diet may be appropriate for some constitutions. Such a diet, it depends on the body. Depends on the fire. So there was one devotee that was, or actually a few at the time of Prabhupada's, leelas, and they were interested in raw diets. But if we're more attached to raw diet than Krishna prasadam, that's also a distraction. If we give Krishna our raw foods, right, then we can become more attached to taking whatever Krishna gives me as prasadam in time. The devotee in time, he thinks, whatever Krishna gives me as prasadam, I'll happily accept it. And then he stops making elaborate arrangements for his own welfare. He starts making beautiful arrangements for Krishna and Krishna's devotees. And he thinks, whatever Krishna gives me, he'll make it work. He's giving it to me, right? Easily. Whatever came easy. One devotee comes and says, "Here, Prabhu, have this." And I say, "Oh, wow. It's Krishna's mercy. Now I got some prasadam." And, the devotees who just live like that, that's very beautiful. Very beautiful. At the same time, there is nothing, there is also a conversation to be had about caring for one's body as the property of the spiritual master. I have to care for it in a certain way because it's not my property. It's Krishna's property and it's the spiritual master's property. I'm supposed to use it for him. So if I have some health issues, I can't be callous. I can't be irresponsible because this body is not mine to waste or to covet. I'm not going to worship this body as my property. My precious. You know? We do that. And then on the other side, we say, I don't care about this body, I'm just going to enjoy. You know? So we don't want to be there. We want to say, this body is Krishna's property. Let me try my best. Right? When we rise up in consciousness, higher and higher, then we have trust. Okay, Krishna will make the arrangements. As long as I'm focusing on his service exclusively, how can he ignore me? And if he wants me to get a disease, who can stop it? Who can stop his will? It's not possible. Let me just try to execute his will. So anyway, these are some points. Let's hear it, Prabhu. Yes, around and around and around and around and around Krishna. Okay, thank you. Sorry to take your time. Breakfast time, ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.